Alright everyone, wrapping up the build here, getting close to being completed, so I figured I'd do a walk around kind of video. Started life as a Lemons A4 B5 S4 engine swap, rear wheel drive, rear mount radiator, tuned by GETuning. It'll eventually be just KO3s, E85, water meth, turned all the way up, kill mode basically. I'll have a low boost setting via the manual boost controller. Brad tuned that in for me. It is mathless. And then we'll have a high boost setup for just killing tires. But to save axles and that, we'll turn the power down so I can actually go out and drive it and do a ton of events in it and have a lot of fun. So 17x8 wheels. I actually got these on closeout special from Tire Rack. They were 30 bucks a piece, brand new, so I picked up 8 of them. Some exterior stuff and that's off the car right now. We're getting ready to wrap it and do a little bit of paint work in that, but let's go around to the rear mount radiator back here. Always wanted to do this in a drift car, finally made it happen. Really, it was more of a restraints up front. I wanted to run a big gigantic radiator and it just wasn't fitting up front, so not without cutting up the body and making the exterior nasty. So going back to my homage, I got a BMW 335 coolant pump in there just to assist the factory pump. Big radiator, actually was out of an old project that I had, big 3-core radiator. The expansion tank and that's up here. This isn't final wired or anything. The fans seem to work very, very well. It's got two 10-inch fans on the underside there. Air comes up from the bottom of the car, gets exited out. I will probably clearance the trunk. I will say I probably had this thing idling for an hour and a half yesterday and it barely got up to 180 degrees. So I'm really, really excited for this. Kicking the pump on and kicking the fans on, I can get it to drop down to, 120 degrees real quick. So, and with having the car shut off at the coolant pump, I can cool the car while it's sitting in the pits. So huge, huge benefit for having the rear mount radiator. Little expansion tank and that up here. Yeah, super happy with the rear mount. I can't say it enough. It really, really keeps the car nice and cool. So going into the interior, Lemon's car, it was wired up just so you flip the ignition switch on, and the fuel pump activates, power to the ECU, hit the start button. That's all they had wired into this car. Kind of changed things up a little bit. Bear with me here. I'm going to try to crawl in here. All right. So we got actually relays wired up instead of just stereo wiring and that. Wrapped this up yesterday. This is just a phone mount, but this will have a tablet run the Torque 2 map just so I can have RPM and that. Not that you really stare at that when you're going sideways and racing, but some backup gauges and that here. Obviously the steering wheel's hanging. So we'll flip the main power on. We've got our wideband, ethanol content, fuel pressure, and then fuel temperature. I did not go with boost because the water meth stage 2 will be up here. I can charge the tablet and that, also read my volts and that here. Let's click the gauges on via the upper. Ooh, we got the fuel pump on. So we'll turn the gauges on. See that again, it goes through its full sweep. Went with the analog and digital coolant temp. Quick fuel pump on. Power onto the ECU already. Cracks right off. Again, Brad Watkins tuning. Just open down pipes right now. It will be straight pipes. I'll probably run them